programming. My name is Hannah Jensen, your host with Salem Media Group. Joining me today, I have a very special guest, and I'm so excited to introduce you to former NFL wide receiver for the Cleveland Browns, Paul Browning. And we have Teddi Domann here with this year we're going to be talking about the 16th annual Pro Football Camp. And I'm just so excited. Teddi, I've had you on for the last 2 years.
Well, thank you very much for having us back, Hannah. It's always a pleasure to come. And, you know, we are so excited about what we've got planned for this year's 16th annual Pro Football Camp, where it's going to be July 13th to the 15th. And our location is yet to be determined, so stay tuned or check our website, but it'll definitely be here right in the heart of Colorado Springs. Our camp is targeting boys and girls ages 7 to 14 years old.
Awesome.
So all the details are out on our website, www.profootballcamp.com.
I'm just so excited because every year, like we've discussed before in previous interviews, every year is different and it has a different impact on different kids or same kids.
It's so much fun. You know, and I have the privilege every year of having these athletes come in. And I always, as we kind of gather and huddle before the first one kicks off, I always say to them, all right, I've done my job. You're going to have X number of kids, go to it, and you do your job on the field. So I'm so excited because these guys donate their time. They literally come from across the United States and donate their time for these 3 days. And their whole desire is to pour into these kids and to make an impact.
Absolutely.
So it's always fun to see how God works that through these athletes.
Yes, absolutely. You know, Paul, you were a former NFL wide receiver for the Cleveland Browns. I got to say, when you walked in, like, this man is huge. I have to say it. I was like, he is an athlete.
And, you know, it's actually pretty funny because there's a lot of other guys that I may have, played with, ran it. When I was in Carolina, I played with Michael Orr. So from the blind side, absolutely a humongous individual.
He was actually that big.
He's that big, and Cam Newton. I mean, you think about him, he's a quarterback. He was, that was also a very large.
Is he that big too?
Yeah.
Cam Newton?
Yeah. Like a warrior, like a gladiator. Yeah.
That's insane. No, I had to point it out because, so I was an athlete, right? So, and I played basketball and people go, no way. Because I'm like 5 foot. Okay, I was a little fighter though. Okay, that was a side note.
Point guard.
Exactly. No big forward, right?
Yeah.
Just kidding. Yeah, so let's just talk about, your career. Start out with like even growing up and how you first started in football and how that has really impacted your life.
Yeah, so I'm the really cool thing. I know Teddy had mentioned a lot of the athletes that fly out here for the camp. They come out from all over. I'm actually from Colorado Springs, a local guy. I went to Whitefield High School, graduated at. We weren't very good at Whitefield, but that's okay. Graduated from there and went to Colorado State Pueblo, where we were the top team in Division II and won a national championship, and that was able to get me an opportunity to go to the Cleveland Browns as well as the Carolina Panthers. Played professionally for 5 years, and now back home trying to continue to help out. And I mean, this is going to be my fourth year doing pro football camp. So and I'm really. I'm kind of jealous because, this is 16 years and I actually was, I would have been getting out of that age about 14, 15 years old when I would have actually been able to get into the camp. So, I'm kind of jealous of the kids and the fact that they're able to be able to have, something like this where you have so many professional athletes that come back and can help these kids understand not only the fundamental and how to play the game, but also off the field.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that's really really cool about what we're doing with Pro Football Camp, and kind of how it ties into in my life and being here in Colorado Springs. So
a lot of these kids, I can assume they get just starstruck. They have these big NFL athletes teaching them how to throw a ball. That is like, truthfully, as a kid, that is like huge. That's like life impacting, truthfully.
And not everybody has that. I
Yeah.
mean, we really have to be thankful. I mean, for the Domann family, I mean, you don't necessarily have NFL athletes just around in everywhere. I mean, that's not something that
Right.
people can just say that, oh yeah, we'll just have NFL athletes. They just come around all the time, and every summer we see them, and they help us, learn how to play the game, and they talk to us about off the field issues, and they talk to us about whatever that may be. But really helps us love the game even more.
Yeah.
So, but the fact that we're able to have that here in Colorado Springs is something that people really, I would hope, always want to take advantage of and don't take for granted, because like I said, not everywhere it's like this.
Yes, absolutely. The Domanns, you guys definitely have a great reputation.
Oh, well, thank you.
16 years.
16 years, but it's all about giving back to the community. And I really can't emphasize enough. We don't do it by ourselves. I mean, we've got so many donors and businesses that come around us to help. We have every year over 100 volunteers that come out and help. Wow. And then, I know I've already mentioned the athletes, but that's really a huge deal that they come, especially when you talk about the active ones or even those that are retired, because they've got regular jobs now, or the NFL athletes, the current guys, this is in their little 3-week window between training camps and the official, training camp and the season starting. So they're graciously giving their time. And, I don't think we realize enough how much they're donating to all of this. So I appreciate saying anything nice about us, but really it's all the other people around it that make it happen.
No, I think about that actually. Some of these guys, they probably just want to chill out on their couch. I don't know if that's a thing with an NFL athlete though, with a 3-week window or whatever. So I think it's just quite incredible. As a kid growing up, you have these coaches and these mentors that you look up to. And they really do say, like, coaches and mentors at that age, even teachers, I'm going to throw in there, have a lasting impact. So this camp, is 2 days, right? But it can have a lasting impact.
Actually, it's 3 days.
3 days, excuse me. Yep.
And just to add to that, I mean, for myself growing up, I was a huge, and rest in peace to him, a Vincent Jackson guy, because he went to Whitefield High School. And just being able to meet him when he was coming out and getting drafted to the San Diego Chargers, and being able to have the conversations with him and go, oh, like, you went to Whitefield, I'm going to go to Whitefield, or you went to Sproul and I went to Sproul, and you made it to the NFL. I see that you made it. And, that speaks to me. I know that I can make it as well. So sometimes it's just seeing those individuals who are doing what you want to do. And, yes, we know about 99% of the guys who show up to the kids who show up to the camp, may not make it to the NFL. But this game of football is something that can teach you so many life lessons. So when you have a bunch of athletes who are performing at the highest level, I mean, there's some things that we've had to overcome and that we can put into, a tangible way for kids to understand this is what the game can bring to you on the field, off the field, and an understanding of how to work in a team environment. I mean, there's just so many things that football brings, and that's really why it's the greatest sport in the world. But yeah, that's one of the really special things about football, and being able to bring it back to these kids here.
That's such a good point, because you make it relatable.
Yeah.
Like, you're 10 years old and I play in the NFL, but I'm going to relate to you in this moment.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's really cool.
Well, I think it's really important for them to tell their stories of overcoming adversity, because I know we're all guilty of it. Yeah. We all think that person who's made it to the top, that their life was just a straight line, right? Like it just, nothing went wrong. And yet it's the furthest thing from the truth. So there's nothing more, I think, not only humbling, but also motivating, right? To see these athletes and have them sharing, what their journeys were. Some of them, it's been, they came from really horrific backgrounds. I'm talking horrific backgrounds. Other ones, they've had to overcome. It may have been injuries. It may have been size. I mean, there's just a wide variety of things that every athlete has to deal with, and nobody gets to the top short of having any issues at all. They all have issues. So I think that that's a very valuable lesson that, and there's that, if you can see it, you can be it.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think that's something else that's very tangible. It's like, we can all say to our kids, they put their pants on the same way you do.
Right.
But
yeah.
when you literally see that kid and then you're like, he puts his pants on the same way I do. I see that, I think it just becomes very, it feels like you can touch your dream.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Oh my gosh. Yes. It just gets me giddy thinking about these kids just light up on the foot. And I think it's awesome that you're inviting girls, by the way.
Hello.
Right? Girl power.
Why not?
I mean, how many women won a Super Bowl ring this year? I believe 3 coaches won a Super Bowl ring this year, women.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
Come on now.
I get goosebumps. And, last year in the middle of COVID, when we had those issues, right?
Yeah.
Of traveling and everything else. So we didn't have as many current guys and even former guys attend just because of the travel restrictions, right?
Yeah.
But we actually paired up with the local pro team here.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yes. And were those women not just, not only fundamentally sound, but that whole see her, be her,
Yes.
we were all inspired.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, I mean, it's I think it's as long as we continue to push this game, and like I said, it's not about everybody going to the NFL.
Right.
It's not about that. This game applies to everybody and what we all can pull from it and what we can learn from it, because it really is the ultimate team sport. You have to learn how to work with others, and you have to be able to overcome. And, like I said, everybody can take a piece from that. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's only right that everybody is there.
Can you give us a snippet, not to mean to put you on the spot, of maybe a adversity story that you face that you're going to probably be sharing with some of these athletes?
Yeah, of course. I got a bunch. No, I think the biggest one for me is, and I try to talk to kids that I ended up coaching or talking to. I try to speak this story a lot. Is me coming from high school. I said I went to Wyfield High School, not a very good football program at the time. We just weren't winning football games, and I really wanted to go Division I.
Yeah.
I mean, that was everything. I was, wanting to play, at the Rose Bowl or whatever, and we put so much stock into guys being able to go and play Division I football.
Right.
So that was something that when my senior year came around and we didn't win very many games, and then the opportunities that I thought I had for a Division I all slipped away, and 2 weeks before National Signing Day, I didn't have an offer to go play football anywhere.
Wow.
And we flash forward, 6 years later, I'm in the NFL. So, it's just,
cool.
but I didn't have one offer coming out of high school. A week before signing day, and then signing day, CSU Pueblo, which was a football program that had only been around for, I think 3 years at the time, or 2 years. They played one season, I believe.
Yeah.
And they come around going, hey, yeah, we can't really pay for your school. We'll give you a little bit, but and that was something where I said, well, I'm gonna have to do it. I just finished this book called Don't Eat the Marshmallow Yet. I don't know if you guys have read that. Don't Eat the Marshmallow Yet.
I'm going to write it down.
It's about delayed gratification. So when you're able to bet on yourself, and that's what I was able to do. I bet on myself and go, well, I'm not going to go Division I. I'm going to go D2. But if I really hone in on my craft and I do everything I'm supposed to do, and I'm just better than the next guy.
Yeah.
Just be better than the next guy. Like if I just do that, I'm going to put myself in position to do that. And I was able to, put myself in a really good position. Right before I met Craig Domann, I actually had tore my knee up in my senior year, and I missed so many games. And I remember talking and saying, hey, do you think I could still make it to the NFL even with being hurt? And he said, dude, really? Like you're gonna have to come in, and we had a playoff stretch. He said you're gonna have to come in and play really well in the playoffs, and maybe you'll get a shot. And that's what I ended up doing. But it was the whole thing of overcoming these little obstacles that were gonna show up, and being able to be water, like Bruce Lee would say, be water, and just adjust to everything. And like I said, football will always teach you to do that. But once again, bet on yourself. I always say that, always bet on yourself. And that kind of, will help you always get through these situations if you understand that you can do it, and that's something that you will accomplish. So, yeah.
I am pumped up right now. That inspired me. You took the open door that truthfully God gave you.
100%.
He's like, walk through it and let me take it.
And that's one of the things. Never lost faith, never lost sight in that.
Wow.
I even remember getting on a phone call with my mom, and after I tore my MCL, slight tear, but I just remember coming back from the road trip of where I got hurt, and I'm sitting in my car, my little rental car, and I had gotten in a car accident the week before. So I'm sitting in this little rental car, and I called my mom, and I'm trying to tell her, hey, I got hurt again, and she knows I'm crying, and we just have this whole moment. But she was just like, your story, the way that you even came onto this earth, like there's a reason why it all happened. God has put you in this situation for a certain reason. So don't ever question what's going on. There's a plan, and you have to follow it. So, I mean, that's just sneak peek, some of the stuff that we're going through with the pro football camp. So, being able to talk to the different athletes, you'll be able to hear, so many different stories. I know mine is that's my story there, but there's even more greater stories that you get from some of the guys that come out.
I'm just so totally inspired. This is why I love sports in general, because you hear stories like that. And like you said, Teddy, like it doesn't, a lot of different people's perspectives when you see like a LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, I might even add Tom Brady. Okay. Oh, they had it easy.
Right.
They had it easy. They had the straight. No. You did not see what they did in that gym on that field to get to that point.
Yeah. Nobody makes it to the top. Nobody without just an incredible amount of hard work, perseverance, dedication, focus. I mean, how many other words can we add in there?
Yeah, just to pull, because just pulling from that, like I said, I had just finished this book, so it's fresh in my mind. Those who are successful are always willing to do the things that unsuccessful people won't do.
Amen to that.
So it's just when you get to athletes who really want to play at the pinnacle of whatever level of football or basketball, whatever that is, it's work.
Yes.
And it's like you need so much work and you need so much like almost luck sometimes as well. You need the right person to be watching you. There's so many things that go into it. It's just being prepared for an opportunity to be great. So, and it's like that works in all facets of life though. Even you doing this, like there had to be a time where you were like, well, I need to be ready for when that opportunity comes, the interview comes. And I hop in and I get in front of the mic and I tear it apart, and everybody, they say, hey, that she's born to do this. So that's just the thing, being ready for that opportunity.
Oh, that is so good. One of my favorite coaches back in high school, this is the biggest thing that I remember her saying. She says, you will never regret working hard. You're never going to regret it. Okay, whoever says, oh my gosh, I worked so hard and during that workout, I regret that. No, you don't. That hurt. It hurt so good, but Yeah, so how many kids is signups available right now, Teddy?
Absolutely. You can sign up today at www.profootballcamp.com. We typically average around 285 kids. Last year we were down a little bit, but candidly, we had 223. And in the midst of COVID, we were thrilled. So,
right?
But you know what? We followed the protocols absolutely to a T. In fact, they had actually increased how much they opened it, but we kept to that previous level. And I'm happy to report we didn't have one case of COVID. So.
No, you did not. Amen to that.
Amen.
You know what? And I'm looking at the post-COVID days. Anybody with me on that?
Close.
Like, it's
Coming
close.
close.
Come on, let's go. Yes. So can you give us a little bit of rundown of what the camp will look like, I guess, for parents who are listening right now and they're like, I need a Paul Browning in my kid's life.
Absolutely. So the camp is 3 days. It runs Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, July 13th, 14th, and 15th. And all the details will be on profootballcamp.com. Again, we're still working out a few of those as far as the location and so forth. But we start at 8 o'clock in the morning. I mean, absolutely sharp at 8 o'clock, just like at any practice, right? Absolutely sharp at 8 o'clock. And then we end at 11:30. We have 2 major water breaks. And during those time periods, we have what we call off the field with the pros. So we start the day with it. We do it during our major water breaks, and then we end with it. So that's the time when the athletes are talking about their stories. They're talking about these various character qualities. That's the time period that we use that. So it's really a really fun time. Day 1 is offensive day. Day 2, we focus on defense. And then day 3, we work on special teams and scrimmaging. So of course,
Day 3 is my favorite.
Right?
Day
Let's
3.
play.
I'm not sure who's more competitive, the kids or the coaches on the sidelines, by the way.
Hey, we get into it. So, yeah, you got to come ready to win. So, especially on my team.
I was going to say, I'll be on your team, right? Because we win. Oh, how fun. Yes. Oh, my goodness. So, Paul, do you remember a certain kid? Do you have a story where you're like, oh my gosh, that kid changed my life?
Yeah, you know what? There's always a couple kids. There's definitely a young man who was in this last one. I called him Baker Mayfield.
Oh my
He came
goodness.
through. He had
There you go.
he had hair and he had these headband he was wearing. Super cool kid. He is, I believe he was seventh or 8th grade. But was able to, trash talk a little bit because I think he was on the opposite team.
It's Baker.
Oh yeah, real Baker Mayfield stuff. But a real cool kid that I was able to talk to at the camp, and then ended up running into him after the camp because he ends up training with a couple different people in a close group that I know, and he's actually now on my 7-on-7 team. So it's it's being able to talk to some of these kids, and you get relationships with a lot of these kids and parents, and it's just being tied back into the community of Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
We're growing so much. So many people are moving here, but it's always important for us to remember to keep Colorado Springs and really keep that community and understand that we are all together in this city, and we can all make each other greater and better and help up the ones who are coming up behind us. So, that's, so many different kids, but that's one kid that I, that stuck out in my mind. And like I said, I now know him today. He's on my 7-on-7 team.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Isn't that fun?
Oh, it's
But
so
see,
fun.
don't you just love Paul's heart? I mean, he's all about the community.
I
And he's
know.
all about building these kids up. And that's the kind of athletes that we bring. I can't tell you how often somebody will say, well, why isn't Von Miller here? And, I will be very honest with you. We always put an invitation out to Bronco players, and we do our best to bring Bronco players down because
Of
we know
course.
that's really exciting. But to be very honest with you, we want the right athletes.
Amen. Yes.
And I always say year in and year out, we have the right athletes here. And I know you can hear it in Paul's voice. And every single athlete that comes and donates their time, that's exactly what you're getting from them. These guys want to pour into these kids. They want to help them. They understand what it takes in a community to build up kids to have these kind of opportunities.
And Paul, just hearing your story, a few minutes ago, a little bit of facing adversity and what your mom told you, like, it's really true, though, for such a time as this. Like, you're here today talking to us about the pro football camp for a reason.
Yeah.
And, like, your heart just, like, is there.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Every experience that you've ever gone, it sounds super corny, but every experience you've ever gone through, it's put you right into this situation and in this place. And if we don't use that as wisdom, I guess, to speak to those who maybe don't know how to get through their situation, then we're doing a disservice to ourselves and what we've been through, because it is a part of our lives and put us exactly where we need to be at. There's so many people who we lost this past year because of COVID or just because of life itself.
Yep.
And life is precious. So it's just being us being able to, like I said, be present, understand everything that I've went through has put me right here, and I'm supposed to be here. And now it's my turn to tell that story back to those coming behind me, so then they don't make the same mistakes, or they can just be better.
Right.
So,
Paul, you're going to impact so many kids. And you already have, obviously. So thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
being here and talking with us. And you inspired me. I had chills like this whole interview. So I'm like, oh my goodness. Teddi, as we're wrapping up here, can you give us the information one more time if someone's hearing this right now?
Absolutely. Pro Football Camp is July 13th to the 15th. And you can get all the details on our website at www.profootballcamp.com. It's for boys and girls ages 7 to 14 years old. Perfect. So come join us. We have a lot of fun and we learn a lot too.
Woohoo. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you.
Yes. Once again, this is Hannah Jensen. Thank you so much for listening to today's Community Insights program, Salem Media Group. If you have any ideas for the show, please reach out to me and send me an email at hannah.jensen@salemcos.com. Until next time, take care.